Hey everyone, and welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Thank you so much for joining us for another nightly news recap. I'm Alyssa Ashe, and I'm so glad to be spending tonight with you guys. It is Thursday, November 17th. We're about halfway through the month, approaching Thanksgiving, and I have some wonderful hot topics for you guys tonight that we're going to discuss, so don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for choosing Right Side Broadcasting Network as your trusted news network, and for deciding to spend this hour or 2 hours, we'll see, with us tonight. Wanted to welcome everyone over in the chat room tonight. Shout out to our wonderful moderators. Thank you so much, everyone that is here right now. Let's see, some of those moderators, Guinevere, thank you for sharing my Twitter handle. However, I did update it. It's at Alyssa Ashe RSBN, so it is my full name now, but thank you so much, Guinevere. Really appreciate that. And let's see, looking at some other moderators that are here right now. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Real Frank in Florida, really appreciate your donations and support. And Roger Vega, thank you for being here tonight. And let's see, some members are in here as well. James Wolf, thank you for being here right now. And wanted to shout out some thank yous to those who donated already tonight. Tree climbing, thank you so much for the $4.99 donation referencing the Mueller investigation. Really appreciate that. And Swoosh for Trump, thank you for the $20 donation. Really appreciate that. And I hope you guys are all doing well and that you have a wonderful night. We do have some hot topics that we will be diving into right now, and it's really great that you guys are all, watching from all over the place. So I really thank you for that. And this is a different kind of broadcast, as you guys may have noticed, because it is not like the mainstream media, and we do actually have the opportunity to interact with you guys. So we're really thankful for that. And if there are any stories that I may not have mentioned tonight, make sure to share it with me on Twitter at Alyssa Ashe RSBN. And also shout out to Sherwin Wendell, one of our fantastic reporters. He is watching right now, and he says he just retweeted. So thank you, Sherwin. I appreciate that. And I know you guys asked for information on the caravan, so I will be updating you on that as well, kind of just diving into some of the hot topics. We're going to talk about the caravan, and we're going to talk about the wildfires in California. Now, these have been devastating. I'm going to bring you guys an update, but I updated you yesterday when the death toll was up to 56. 56 individuals lost their lives in these fires in California, and they're not in one location. They're in Southern California, in Ventura County, and they're kind of not north, but kind of, middle of California, more towards the north. And so it is very heartbreaking. And while we're seeing wildfires in California, over in the west, we're seeing a lot of cold weather in the northeast. Now, as you guys know, we're headquartered in Alabama, so these cold temperatures are not really hurting us too badly, but it is definitely cold. And so we're gonna update you guys on that, some of those cold temperatures and Winter Storm Avery that we are seeing right now. And I'm gonna also update you guys on what's going on in politics in Florida. We had just such a crazy season, with midterm elections. And it just, for many of us, it was not what we expected at all. I know that many of our viewers are conservative, are Republican. And as you guys know, conservatives did not keep the House. We kept the Senate, thankfully, but Republicans did not keep the House. So we're going to be seeing a lot of gridlock over the next 2 years. And throughout this broadcast, I will also be checking my Twitter for messages from you guys. Thank you all that have sent me different stories. Really appreciate that, because I like to share news stories that are really important to you all. And I will be checking my Twitter throughout the broadcast at Alyssa Ashe RSBN. But honestly, there are a number of ways that you can interact with me. You can message me on Twitter, but many of you may not have Twitter. So you can just message me here as well. I am monitoring the YouTube chat at all times. And I have a new Facebook page, a public Facebook page, Alyssa Ashe RSBN. And so I will be monitoring that as well. And hello to everyone over on Facebook. Looks like we have 65 watching on Facebook right now, so that's really exciting. And thankfully, Periscope is back up and Twitter. I'm really thankful for that. I know over the last couple nights that was not up. So really glad to be live on Twitter tonight with you all. And I'm going to be looking at those comments too. So thank you everyone that has shared stories on Twitter. Really, really appreciate you guys. You are absolutely fantastic, and we would not be able to do this without you guys. As you all know, Right Side Broadcasting Network is donor supported. So we are extremely grateful for every dollar that you decide to share with us. We know it is hard-earned money, and we do not take anything for granted. So thank you all very much for donating. It was a blessing today. I got to go through some handwritten letters from all around the country. And it wasn't just me, it was the whole team. We actually had a meeting. So our CEO, Joe Seals, and two of our other reporters and anchors, and if you guys haven't noticed, we kind of share responsibilities here, and we all do a little bit of everything, which is a lot of fun. So Bailey Byers, Max Kleiber, and Joe Seals, we all went through those letters tonight, and it was such an honor, and we were so thankful to receive such wonderful letters from all around the country and your donations. Thank you so much for giving to us during this holiday season. We know you don't have to, and so we really thank you that we're able to be on the air because of your support. Now, of course, as you know, President Trump is not holding any rallies that we know of in the next week or two, but as soon as we hear of one, we will be there. And we're also planning on going to many conservative conferences over the next year, so stay tuned for that. It is going to be very exciting. Also, shout out, thank you so much, Steve Nisley, State to State Interior Painter, for your $1.99 donation. Really appreciate that. And Mick Bradley donated $10 and said, appreciate the good work. Thank you very much, Mick. Really appreciate your donation and support of Right Side Broadcasting Network. So like I said, throughout the broadcast, in case it's your first time, you're not really sure what's going on, I will be multitasking. I have many tabs open, and I am just looking at 4 different types of social medias because I want to bring you guys the most current information as well as many news sources as well. And I love seeing where you guys are from. It is so much fun. Over on Facebook, it looks like we have some guests from Arkansas, Michigan, and Florida and Australia. Really wonderful to see those viewers from Australia. Also, let's see, New Zealand, that is really cool. Also, Maryland. Love shouting out those locations. I think it's so much fun. And we have a viewer from New York, probably more than one, some viewers from West Virginia, Louisiana, California. And just know, everyone in California, you are in our thoughts and prayers right now. And also, looks like we have some viewers from Alabama and Idaho. I love shouting out the states. I think it's so much fun. Another one from New York. So thank you guys so much for tuning in from all over America. Really appreciate that. And sorry about that noise. I need to turn the notifications off, getting some messages on Facebook right now, and maybe some fun stories that I will share with you guys throughout the night. So don't go anywhere. Stay right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network as we bring you real news, current news, and a unique perspective that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'm going to bring you guys updates of some of these breaking stories that we've really heard a lot about over the course of the week. It's been a crazy week here at Right Side Broadcasting Network because we are just hitting the ground running and getting back into the swing of things after midterms. For those of you that might not be familiar, we were at almost each one of President Trump's rallies, and so over the past 5-6 months, I've been able to attend about 40 rallies, and I have really enjoyed it. Even during our meeting today, I pulled up the President Trump rally playlist just to kind of remember it a little bit. speaking of rallies, Doug Christopher is watching from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, where President Trump held his last rally. And that was huge. We had thousands watching, and there were many special guest speakers there, including a couple hosts from Fox News. And that was a wonderful rally hosted by Liz Willis and cameraman James Willis. They were both there and working really hard to bring you guys the entire story. So I am kind of just searching right now. I want to bring you guys the latest updates, and I have some information from the Independent Co. from over in the UK talking about how more than 1,500 refugees and migrants arrived at the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, I did mention it yesterday. They reached the city of Tijuana at the U.S.-Mexico border, and in joining more than 750 people that had already reached Tijuana, there are now more than 1,500 migrants. Many of them are fleeing poverty and violence in their home countries of Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Now, around 6,000 troops, this is according to the Independent, but according to my information from yesterday, around 7,000 troops deployed by President Trump are waiting on the other side of the border, having spent time building concrete barriers and erecting razor wire fences to keep people out. And if you, I don't have this available to show you guys right now, but if you went into it and looked at this article from Independent, you would be able to see kind of just a timeline of events. And I've been, looking at the news all day, per usual. I love it. You can't be a news anchor and you cannot be a news reporter or really be in news in any way if you don't love it. So I'm a news junkie. I'm proud of it. I have it on my Twitter. So I'm always listening, getting notifications from just a variety of sources so that I can bring you all the full story. And I was listening earlier today, and it's really interesting how the mainstream media has downplayed the caravan. And even former President Barack Obama has given some speeches about how the caravan is so harmless. But as you guys know, it's not necessarily harmless when there are thousands trying to enter our country in an illegal way. Now, I'm not saying that, we shouldn't have them here in America, but it would be really wonderful if the migrants decided to go about it in a legal way. But right now, we're seeing, that not happening. And so it is definitely a mess down at the border. But I will keep you guys updated on that. I know many of you have some strong opinions of it, so I will be bringing you updates as I receive them throughout the night. And we are going to look at a few more stories. I want to also bring you guys an update on the California wildfires and a winter storm Avery as well, which right now is spreading snow and ice and rain. And this is really affecting travel in a big way, especially with Thanksgiving approaching. But the TSA is very prepared for this. At least they say they are. It's still going to be crazy as people around America, I'm not sure the exact statistics, but people around the country are traveling for Thanksgiving. They want to visit those family members in different states. As you guys know, jobs are causing people to move, of course, all around the country. And even millennials, Generation Zers, they're moving for these new jobs to big cities, to more urban areas. But then, of course, for the holidays, they're going to go back home and visit their families for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So the airports are going to be full. The highways are going to be packed. So if you are traveling next week for Thanksgiving, make sure to plan accordingly and just be safe. So going to bring you guys right now an update on, weather-wise, what we are seeing right now, learning that the North Carolina wildfire death toll has risen to 63. The Northern California wildfire death toll has risen to 63, according to a sheriff there. Definitely heartbreaking news Also going to bring you guys a map in just a second of Winter Storm Avery as it is spreading across the Northwest. I know many of you are dealing with this. You might be in the middle of it right now. I know we have many viewers from Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, New York, and across New England as well. So I want to bring you guys a look at a map, kind of what Winter Storm Avery looks like. I'm going to be pulling that up right now. All right, there it is. So you can see the winter alerts, and this is courtesy of the Weather Channel. You can see the dark teal signifies winter storm warning, and the lighter turquoise winter weather advisory, and the lighter color winter storm watch. And you can see just all across New England where Winter Storm Avery is really affecting different areas. And so if you have relatives up there, make sure to check on them and make sure they are safe and warm tonight. So according to the Weather Channel, warnings are issued for areas where confidence is high that heavy snow, sleet, and or freezing rain are expected to produce a significant impact. A freezing rain, sleet, and or snow will make travel hazardous for areas under a winter weather advisory. Now, Avery was initially named with the expectation that winter storm warnings would be issued for at least 2 million people. And this criteria was reached when many of the mid-Mississippi region, including the St. Louis metropolitan area and the central Appalachians, were placed in warnings by late Wednesday morning. Now, snow and sleet are moving up the Interstate 95 corridor through New York City, tri-state area, and into Boston, as well as into much of Pennsylvania, upstate New York, and New England. Now, on the western edge of the storm, an area of snow continues from lower Michigan into Ohio, eastern Kentucky, and parts of West Virginia. Now, you can imagine, and I'm going to scroll down so that you are able to see it, but wanted to shout out real quick, huge thank you to Proud Patriot 28 for your $10 donation. Really appreciate that. Who says, let's not forget the Florida Panhandle area hit by Hurricane Michael. It's been over a month and many are still struggling to get back on their feet. Yes, I totally agree with you there. Thank you so much, Proud Patriot, for your donation and for reminding us to think of everyone that has been affected by Hurricane Michael. It's not in the news as much anymore, but like you said, many are still struggling to get back on their feet. And I know that there are different ways online that you can help support those. Going to try to find a couple of them for you right now, and hopefully I'll be able to tweet those out tonight. Different ways to help those in need right now. Of course, I believe I'm checking right now. You can definitely go to Red Cross or the Salvation Army. Hopefully they will still have those live links up. I'm going to do a little bit of searching tonight after the broadcast, and I'll be tweeting that out for you all to see. So I'm going to scroll down and show you guys what it looked like in the New York City tri-state area. You can see just some slush on the ground and a lot of traffic. Going to zoom out so you have a better view. So according to the Weather Channel, the Thursday evening rush hour in the New York City tri-state area was a nightmare. As a heavier burst of snow, the first measurable snow of the season, arrived when people were leaving work, and gridlock stopped many in their tracks and led to several hour-long commutes. So it was definitely a mess today. Now, this is according to Steve Compertino. He tweeted it out, and he says, sent me on Route 17 near Mawat, New Jersey. Absolutely horrendous conditions out there. Now, according to the Weather Channel, up to 6 inches of snow had been reported at Central Park and Newark, New Jersey as of early Thursday evening. And this was one of Central Park's snowiest November days on record, dating back into the 1800s, while city airports also climbed into the record books. Now, regardless of daily record, Avery may still bring the snowiest November in New York City in 80 years, weeks before the month is out. Now, kind of looking at the forecast for Thursday night, for tonight, I'm going to scroll down so you can see what's going on. So snow is expected from West Virginia and eastern Ohio into the interior Northeast, from western and central Pennsylvania into upstate New York and northern New England. Now, you can see on the map a mix of snow, sleet, and or freezing rain is possible farther south and east from North Virginia and northwestern Maryland into eastern and central Pennsylvania, northwestern New Jersey, and lower and mid-Hudson Valley and southern New England. Now, rain is expected in the mid-Atlantic region from much of New Jersey southward into Virginia. Now, strong winds may also develop along the eastern seaboard as the area of low pressure intensifies, with some gusts up to 50 miles per hour possible on Cape Cod, Nantucket, and Martha's Vineyard overnight. Now, looking into Friday, what we are expecting, I'm going to pull up Friday's forecast for you as well. I'm going to zoom out and see if that gives you a better picture. Nope, we're going to stay zoomed in. Okay. So looking at Friday, and this is courtesy of the Weather Channel, trying not to block too much of it with my graphic. So snow remains possible from western Pennsylvania and the Poconos of northeastern Pennsylvania to upstate New York and northern New England. Now, precipitation is expected to fall in the form of rain along the east coast from southern New England to northeastern New Jersey before ending from south to north through the day. So the Avery snow/ice forecast, the best chance of moderate to potentially heavier snowfall totals is in a swath from central Pennsylvania to New York State and western and northern New England, where at least 6 inches of snow is possible. Now, some areas could see upwards of a foot by early Friday. Now, making this forecast tricky is the potential for either sleet, freezing rain, or even rain to penetrate into these areas, at least for a time. And looking right now at some of your comments, let's see, someone said, where did it go? WPPC Production says, Alyssa, we have about 5 inches outside now at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much, WPPC. Would love to know where you are located. And if any of you are kind of in the middle of this right now, if you have any pictures that you would like to send to me of the snow, rain, sleet, whatever is affecting your area right now, please send it to me on Twitter at Alyssa Ashe RSBN, and I would love to share those pictures on air. I know that's something that local news stations do a lot with weather, and also they might do like a pet of the week thing, but right now would really love to see those pictures of your beautiful snowy yards. I was seeing a lot of beautiful pictures on Twitter today. Also, if you happen to be in California and you're unfortunately in the middle of these devastating wildfires and you happen to get some pictures, of course, you can share those with us as well. You can tweet them to me at Alyssa Ashe RSBN, or you can send them to at RSB Network on Twitter. You can also reach me on Facebook, Alyssa Ashe RSBN, and send them directly in the Facebook messaging, and I will be able to share it with everyone. And looks like we're getting some information from Mary Malarkey, I want to say it right, Miller. She says, I'm in southwestern Pennsylvania, 20 minutes south of Pittsburgh. Very cool. I'm very familiar with Pittsburgh. And she says, we have only about half an inch of snow right now. Thank you for sharing, Mary. Really appreciate that. And wow, Kathleen says we have over a foot of snow in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Thank you for sharing. And let's see, seeing if any of you have any more comments about the weather, about the snow. Shout out to Kristen Fuller. I hope you are doing well. A friend is watching right now, and I am, like I said, I'm looking at the comments right now on the YouTube live chat, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Looks like I have a few messages in, maybe some information from you all about the snow that some of you may be encountering in the Northeast, in New England. So please let me know. Would love to share that with everyone. And I'm not sure where you're located, but I just got a tweet from Dave, and he says, "Hello, Alyssa, this is Dave. We have had a crazy kind of weather. It started with snow that mixed between rain, sleet, and snow, and finally rain, and then a blowing wind to finish it off." Thank you, Dave, for sharing that with us. Really interesting. Down here in Alabama, we've just had a few very cold days. I had to pull out the puffy jacket today and almost snow. One of our reporters said that he felt like he did see some flurries down in Auburn, but unfortunately we weren't able to get any video of that for you all. But we did encounter some of those really cold temperatures, and it was definitely a quick drop. I mean, it's the middle of November. Of course, we're going to start seeing some of those colder temperatures, but very surprising that it has been this cold. So I'm going to continue sharing a little bit more weather news, and then we will move on. So through Friday, there's also an ice forecast on the Weather Channel that I wanted to share, and you can see the different colors. So magenta, this pink represents possible, and then the purple likely. So going through West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, and Virginia. So looking at this ice forecast, now according to the Weather Channel, it could at least slicken roads and overpasses, so definitely be careful when you're driving, and hopefully they are already salting the roads up there. So these overpasses are expected from the Ohio Valley into the Appalachians. Well, the ice on the overpasses is expected in much of Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, southern New York, and parts of southern New England. And more damaging, additional ice accumulations capable of tree damage and power outages are expected in central and southern Ohio, central and southern Indiana, and the Appalachians from central Pennsylvania into northwestern Maryland, eastern West Virginia, and western Virginia. Now, as you know, this could make the commutes both tonight and Friday morning somewhat dangerous, definitely challenging. And this could also lead to flight delays at the major Northeast airport hubs, even if rain dominates. And going to pull up some pictures from today. This is from an account on Twitter, Snowgo USA. So this morning, trees and power lines were down due to ice in parts of Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky, and trees and power lines were sagging due to ice accumulations in the high country of northwestern North Carolina. Ice accumulations up to half an inch were reported near Boone, North Carolina this morning. Now, ice of 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch were reported in the Cincinnati and Dayton, Ohio metro areas and in parts of northern and central Kentucky before temperatures warmed a bit above freezing this morning. Now, just 1/4 inch of ice and trees and elevated surfaces was noted in Louisville, Kentucky, the city's first November freezing rain or freezing drizzle in almost 29 years. So these pictures are from Snowgo, and they tagged the Weather Channel. And looks like they tagged a couple reporters. This is in Louisville, Kentucky. So you can see the beautiful fountain just covered in ice and this tree covered in ice. So definitely a winter wonderland. I don't know about you all, but I am very excited for Christmas, and it's not even Thanksgiving yet. I might do some polls on Twitter, but for some, they do not like to hear Christmas music before Thanksgiving. But many enjoy listening to it before Thanksgiving, so throughout the month of November and in December, maybe even a little bit into January. I don't know about you all, but it is very difficult for me transitioning from Christmas to January. I mean, January does bring the promises of hope and a new year, but it's very different than just how exciting and happy Christmas is. So I feel like many Americans become a little sad in the beginning of January. I know I do, just because, you know, Christmas has ended and it's like we had all this hype and we bought all these gifts and we spent time with family, and then kind of just going back into January. It's cold, but the decorations are being put away. It can be quite tough. So I hope you all are getting ready for a wonderful holiday season and that you have loved ones to spend it with. Make sure you reach out to your friends and to your family and invite those that may not have anywhere to go for a Thanksgiving meal over to your home if you're open to doing that. I know we love to do that at my home. I'm just really excited for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And you can see that America is getting there too. So going to show you guys a little bit more information. And okay, some of your comments here are wonderful. Abigail Blue says, I listen to Christmas music before Thanksgiving. British Patriot says, stores here are already stocking up on Christmas stuff. Steve Bowe says, I am on Christmas music for weeks now. Genesis Code says, we are all saying Merry Christmas. Again, Abigail Blue, the day after Christmas is the worst. Yes, it is, Abigail. It is definitely tough. And suggestion, don't go to the mall the day after Christmas. I did that one year in Houston, Texas, and that was a huge mistake. Now, let's see. Going to be bringing you guys some more information, but love talking to you about the holidays as well, and hopefully we'll be able to have some fun holiday stories for you very soon. So stay tuned. I keep mentioning this, but I just want you to know that there is a lot in store for Right Side Broadcasting Network. Just because we're not at President Trump rallies, because he's not holding them right now. If he was, you know, we would be there. We still have a lot of wonderful content, exciting new shows and programming coming up, so don't miss it. And we're going to finish up the forecast about Winter Storm Avery, so affecting different areas. Going to also show you about 2 to 5 inches of snow that fell in the St. Louis metro. This is a short clip from Jennifer Feldman with KSDK News. I'm going to see if we can play this. It's just 15 seconds long. You can see the flurries. Really beautiful. I definitely hope to see some snow this Christmas. So a mixture, according to the Weather Channel, a mixture of sleet and snow contributed to dangerous roads, especially on bridges and overpasses in northern Mississippi and in the Memphis, Tennessee metro area Wednesday afternoon. Now, there was some light snow reported in Greenville, Mississippi. Some sleet was reported in Tupelo, Mississippi, and sleet mixed with drizzle briefly at the National Weather Service office near Jackson, Mississippi on Wednesday. Now, accumulating snow was observed early Wednesday in the Monroe, Louisiana metro area, smashing a long-standing record there. Now, according to the National Weather Service, 0.4 inches of snow was recorded at Monroe Regional Airport, shattering its record, earliest in season measurable snow by 10 days, previously occurring as early as November 24th, 1950. And going to show, I'm going to throw up real quick a picture in West Monroe, Louisiana from today. This is from Brian Briggs. He says, yep, it's happening in November in Louisiana. So I'm going to share some statistics. So Memphis, Tennessee picked up 0.6 inches of snow Wednesday. Its snowiest November day in 27 years. And in Kentucky, Paducah had its second earliest in season 1 inch plus snowfall, bested only by an October 30th, 1993 snowfall, according to the National Weather Service. Now, going to share some statistics of snowfall that we've already seen. These totals are listed the totals listed are snowfall, unless I tell you it's not snowfall. But going to share with you some statistics, and I want to show it to you as well while we're going through it, just so you can really understand. So looking at Arkansas, 5.5 inches of snow in Georgetown, 0.6 inches in Little Rock. In Connecticut, 5.8 inches in Weston. Delaware, 4.5 inches near Newark. Illinois, 7.5 inches near Campsville. Indiana, 3.5 inches near Chesterton, 1.5 inches of ice near South Bend. Now in Kentucky, 2.3 inches in Reedland, 0.28 inches of ice at Covington Airport, and 0.25 inches of ice in several areas of central and northern Kentucky. Now over in Louisiana, 0.6 inches in Dubois, 0.4 inches in Monroe. In Maryland, 9.5 inches near Frostburg. And if we go down, you can see the other locations. Of course, a lot of snow in New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, where they're already seeing 12 inches in Chinchilla, 10 inches in Mount Pocono, 3.6 inches in Philadelphia, a quarter inch of ice in Castle Shannon near Du Bois. And I'm going to pull it down and show you all some pictures, some fun pictures of the snowfall that we've already seen this year. So this gentleman's name is Richard Bust, and he's clearing snow from his driveway in St. Louis. And he says, all I really need to accomplish are 2 lanes for my car. And much of the region had at least 4 inches of snow, and forecasters expect about 1 to 2 inches or more will fall by the time it tapers off around noon Thursday. Moving on, and these pictures are courtesy of the Weather Channel. So this is a commuter walking across the Capitol Plaza as snow falls in Washington, D.C. Beautiful picture here. And a winter storm advisory has been issued for the D.C. area with moderate to heavy snow and sleet that could accumulate 1 to 2 inches. Moving forward, this is a gentleman walking across the Capitol Plaza as the snow falls in New York. Beautiful picture. Love seeing all of the flurries. And here you can see a U.S. Capitol Police officer patrols the Capitol Plaza as snow falls on November 15th today in Washington, D.C. A winter storm advisory has been issued for the D.C. area. And here you can see 2 men walking across the Capitol Plaza in Washington, D.C. And a woman walking across the Capitol Plaza. Looks like she is busy on the go, texting, Instagramming, Snapchatting, tweeting, doing something while walking through the snow. I hope she takes a second to stop and look at it because it is absolutely beautiful. And you can see on the steps of the U.S. Capitol, workers are already spreading salt to make sure everyone stays safe. And you can see, it says here, tourists are walking across the plaza. And another woman walking across the plaza at the U.S. Capitol. Just going to go through some of these pictures quickly. This one's beautiful. In Washington, citizens are commuting to work under the, not in Washington, in Washington, D.C., commuting to work under the first snowflakes of winter fall on the D.C. area. This one's beautiful. A man riding his bike across Capitol Hill. Beautiful picture. It is strikingly bright and beautiful. Snow and sleet from the winter storm Avery covers the ground at the White House today in Washington, D.C. Now, after moving through the Midwest, the storm is dropping a wintry mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, forcing schools to close or delay opening in the Washington, D.C. area. Another picture from the grounds at the White House. We're not going to go through all of these pictures because there are 53 of them, but for those of you that may want to look, I'm going to quickly drop this link in the YouTube chat, and we will move on to our next news story of the night. And I want to keep interacting with you. And Misty says hello from Noonan, Georgia. Hey, Misty, we received a nice letter from Noonan today. If that was you, thank you very much. And want to interact with you guys as well throughout the night. So I'm going to refresh my social pages, check and make sure I am not missing anything, and want to bring you stories that are interesting and important to you. So don't go anywhere. As you know, throughout the nightly news recap, we cover a variety of topics. And of course, we also have a fun segment where we go through President Trump's tweets. So we're going to do that tonight as well at some point. So don't go anywhere. Stay here. It's going to be a wonderful time. And pulling up right now the next story, making sure that there's no comments, questions on different forms of social media. Definitely don't want to miss out on those. And really thankful to be broadcasting on Periscope right now. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Fred, over on Twitter, for the cute GIF you shared. I want to show that to everyone before we move on to the next story. So I am pulling that up right now. This is from Fred. Thank you, Fred, for sharing that. Very familiar. Everyone knows Charlie Brown. And you might watch a Charlie Brown Christmas this holiday season with your friends and family. So thank you, Fred, for sharing that with us. Really appreciate it. And here you can see a worker clearing the first snow of the season in front of the Capitol in Washington, D.C. So going to prepare for the last portion of our nightly news recap. And as you know, I am kind of preparing as I go. Of course, I did prepare throughout the day, but I'm always researching and always looking to make sure I bring you all breaking live news, information, real news that is relevant to you. So don't go anywhere. Going to get that next story set up in our program. But until then, hang out in the chat room for a little bit and I will be right back. But as I prepare that, I'm going to leave you with going through the pictures because they're still beautiful. Going to leave you with this picture of the White House as I prepare that next story. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. As you know, I'm Alyssa Ashe, and I will be right back for the last portion of our nightly news recap.
Gillen. 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 Gillen.
Andrew Gillum.
Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Although you didn't go anywhere, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight, and welcome to the last part of the nightly news recap. Really glad to have all of you in our chat room tonight over on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Periscope. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to go through a few final stories tonight. I hope you enjoyed that wonderful music by Jacob Seals of Right Side Broadcasting Network. He did a wonderful job producing it, creating it, and really enjoyed listening to that. So we have a few hot topics that we're going to hit before the night's up. We're going to talk politics. I'm going to give you an update on the wildfires in California. And of course, we will do our President Trump tweet segment. But before that, I wanted to remind you all that Right Side Broadcasting Network is donor supported. And thank you guys for everyone who has donated, who has helped us stay on the air. You make it possible for us to be able to go to almost every single President Trump rally, and we can't do it without you. So I wanted to share with you guys a few things you can get in return if you donate. I'm going to tell you the different ways that you can, of course, donate. One of them is very easy. Right here in the YouTube chat. If you happen to be watching in the YouTube chat, all you have to do is click that $ in the bottom left corner, and that's the super chat. And you can click that, donate. Your donation will come up with a bright color, and we'll share your name with the world. And of course, thank you for your donation. And going to bring you the other ways to donate as well. So I'm going to show you real quick. On our website, all you have to do is go to rsbnetwork.com and you can see the different ways to donate. But I know many of you are loyal viewers. You've seen the nightly news recap before, and the ways to donate are down below. So I'm actually not going to pull that up. If you'd like to see it, click that link yourself. But real quick, I'm going to run through it with you guys. If you go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, you'll see the different ways there. The first one is PayPal, and PayPal is really wonderful. We get to keep 98% of that donation. And thank you to our wonderful moderators right now. Guinevere is sharing the different ways that you can donate, and so is Sanity Personified. Thank you all. So you go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. You can donate on PayPal, and we get to keep 90% of that donation. Or you can donate on Patreon. Now, Patreon is really special because you actually become a patron. You can become a regular donor and give monthly any amount you choose, and you'll receive fun things in the mail from us, like this new hat. Really cute navy hat. I put it on last night, but I'm not gonna, well, I'll kind of, you can see it. I'm not going to put it on right now because I have Jackie Kennedy hair. I don't want to mess it up. But it's a really nice new hat, dark navy with the white logo, Right Side Broadcasting Network. So our patrons will be able to receive possibly this hat or the new mug or tumbler that we have. I don't have those on me right now, but I'll definitely show them to you during the next show. So stay tuned for that. So thank you so much to everyone that donates. And remember, you can also donate the old-fashioned way. We call it the Tom O'Neill way, one of our campaign reporters. And you can send a check to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344 in Auburn, Alabama, 36830. You just write it out to RSBN, and we are very thankful for each and every donation. Thank you all for making it possible for us to be live right now. So going to bring you the last few stories of the night. Also looking forward to see what stories you want me to share. So make sure to send them to my Twitter at Alyssa Ashe RSBN. And thank you. Looks like I received a couple on Twitter that I will share with you guys, but also wanted to share with you a really important story right now. And I'm going to throw up a picture. So this is over in Florida. I'm going to pull up box real quick. Okay, so over in Florida right now, according to the Chicago Tribune and many other news sources, the Florida Secretary of State has ordered a manual recount in the Senate race. So Florida's acrimonious battle for the U.S. Senate headed Thursday to a legally required hand recount after initial review by ballot counting machines showed Republican Governor Rick Scott and Democratic Senator Bill Nelson separated by less than 13,000 votes. But the highly watched contest for governor between Republican Ron DeSantis and Democrat Andrew Gillum appeared to be over, with the machine recount showing DeSantis with a large enough advantage over Gillum to avoid a hand recount in that race. So here you can see these are some workers in Florida. They're counting the ballots that were damaged by machines during the vote recount for 3 statewide races at the Broward County Supervisor of Elections headquarters in Florida. Now, Gillum, who conceded the contest on election night, only to retract his concession later, said in a statement that it is not over until every legally casted vote is counted. Now, according to the Chicago Tribune, the recount so far has been fraught with problems. One large Democratic stronghold in South Florida was unable to finish its machine recount by the Thursday deadline due to machines breaking down, and a federal judge rejected a request to extend the recount deadline. Now, the Palm Beach Supervisor of Elections, Susan Butcher, said we gave a heroic effort. And if the county had 3 or 4 more hours, it would have made the deadline to recount ballots in the Senate race. Now, meanwhile, election officials in another urban county in the Tampa Bay area decided against turning in the results of their machine recount, which came up with 846 fewer votes than originally counted. And media in South Florida reported that Broward County finished its machine recount, but missed the deadline by a few minutes. Now, also, according to the Chicago Tribune, counties were ordered this past weekend to do a machine recount of 3 statewide races because the margins were so tight. And the next stage is a manual review of ballots that were not counted by machines to see if there is a way to figure out voter intent. Now, Scott called on Nelson to end the recount battle, explaining the Florida recount and problems real and imagined. Now, he said it's time for Nelson to respect the will of the voters and graciously bring this process to end rather than proceed with yet another count of the votes, which will yield the same result and bring more embarrassment to the state that we both love and have served, the governor said in a statement. Now, according to the Chicago Tribune, the recount has triggered multiple lawsuits, many of them filed by Nelson and Democrats. The legal battles drew the ire of U.S. District Judge Mark Walker, who slammed the state for repeatedly failing to anticipate election problems. And he also said the state law on recounts appears to violate the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that decided the presidency in 2000. Now, Walker said during a morning hearing, "We have been the laughingstock of the world, election after election, and we chose not to fix this." Now, Walker did vent his anger at state lawmakers and Palm Beach County officials. He said they should have made sure they had enough equipment in place to handle this kind of a recount. But he said that he did not extend the recount deadline because he did not know when Palm Beach County would finish its work. Now, Walker also wrote in his ruling turning down the request from Democrats, "This court must be able to craft a remedy with knowledge that will not prove futile. It cannot do so on this record. This court does and will not fashion a remedy in the dark." Now, the overarching problem was created by the Florida legislature, which Walker said passed a recount law that appears to run afoul of the 2000 Bush versus Gore decision by locking in procedures that do not allow for potential problems. And a total of 6 election-related lawsuits are pending in federal court in Tallahassee, as well as at least 1 lawsuit filed in state court. Now, according to the Chicago Tribune, Walker also ordered that voters will be given until 5 p.m. Saturday to show a valid identification and fix their ballots if they have not been counted due to mismatched signatures. Republicans appealed the ruling, but an appeals court turned down the request. Now, Walker was asked by Democrats to require local officials to provide a list of people whose ballots were rejected, but the judge appointed by President Barack Obama refused the request, calling it inappropriate. Now, under state law, a hand review is required with races that have a margin of 0.25 percentage points or less. So the margin between Scott and Nelson had not changed much in the last few days, conceded Mark Elias, an attorney working for Nelson's campaign. But he said he expected the vote tally to shrink due to the hand recount and the ruling on signatures. Now, the developments fueled frustrations among Democrats and Republicans alike. Democrats want state officials to do whatever it takes to make sure every eligible vote is counted. Republicans, including President Donald Trump, have argued that voter fraud threatens to steal races from the GOP. Also going to provide you guys with an update on the wildfire very shortly. The wildfires are raging right now in Southern California, so stay tuned for that. Do not go anywhere. We're very thankful to have you with us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. And getting some new information right now of an update. It is definitely heartbreaking, and I want to bring up a picture as well. And I'll pull that up in just a second. So in California, the death toll has reached 63 in California's Camp Fire. And 631 individuals are still unaccounted for. So looking right now, some live updates from CBS. Authorities said late Thursday the death toll from the Camp Fire has risen to 63, bringing the statewide count to 66. In addition, more than 600 people have been reported missing, according to the Butte County Sheriff's Office. Now, according to CBS, despite the grim update, cooler weather has actually helped fire crews gain ground today against the nation's deadliest wildfire in a century as the search went on for more lost lives. Now, Susan Kaxinen, who fled the flames with her 2 birds, said she's been told she may have to wait 6 months before she can go back to Paradise, which was all but destroyed a week ago. And she said at a shelter set up next to a Walmart parking lot in Chico, "I don't even care if there's no home. I just want to go back to my dirt, and put a trailer up and clean it up and get going." So even though she may have lost her home, she wants to go back to something that feels like home. But meanwhile, at the other end of the state, crews made progress against the Woolsey fire that destroyed over 500 structures in Malibu and other communities. And at least 3 deaths were reported in Southern California. So I brought up a map last night and showed you the locations. The Woolsey fire is in Southern California near Los Angeles. And the Camp Fire, North California, kind of central towards the middle of California, above Sacramento and San Francisco. So the Camp Fire has now caused 63 individuals to lose their lives in Northern California. Definitely heartbreaking. There have been some press conferences of that available to you online. If you go to CBSN, you can see some press conferences. CBS has been tweeting about it as well. And they said that according to officials there, a total of 11,862 structures have been destroyed by the Camp Fire, including homes. And a FEMA official said anyone affected by the Camp Fire needs to register so that they can receive assistance. And an official with the California Highway Patrol said looters will be prosecuted. The California Highway Patrol said road/highway conditions can be found online at the Butte County website. They said some 165 cars have been cleared from roadways. And the Butte County Sheriff's Office announced a total of 631 have been listed as unaccounted, a jump in the past 24 hours. There's also a list available online. Now, NASA has been tweeting out overhead pictures of the wildfires as well. I'm going to pull some of those up right now. Of course, like I said, if you're affected by any of the wildfires in California, please share it with us. Definitely heartbreaking. Going to switch screens and show you what it looks like. This was tweeted out by NASA. California skies are shrouded in smoke as the campfire continues to rage. The fire has been fueled by dry conditions and Santa Ana winds. And they say our NASA Earth satellite captured this image on November 14th. Actively burning fires are shown as red points. Definitely a heartbreaking situation. Please keep all in California in your thoughts and prayers. Now, towards the beginning of this broadcast, brought you a lot of information about Winter Storm Avery in the Northeast and parts of New England. Definitely seeing some very cold temperatures tonight and the possibility of ice. However, over on the west, the wildfires continue to rage. Now, the Butte County Sheriff Corey Honea has asked relatives of the missing to submit DNA samples to speed up identification of the dead. However, he said some of those unaccounted for may never be conclusively found. And according to CBS, San Francisco's iconic open-air cable cars have been pulled off the streets because of choking air wafting in from a wildfire in Northern California. Now, the city's transportation agency said Thursday that because of the poor air quality, all cable cars will be pulling back into the cable barn. And the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency made the announcement on Twitter saying buses would provide service for the remainder of the day. Schools in San Francisco, Sacramento, Oakland, and elsewhere have announced they will be closed Friday because of the poor air quality. So definitely a heartbreaking situation in California. Doesn't look like they're stopping anytime soon. We'll try to pull up some more statistics for you about it very soon. So don't go anywhere, but stay with us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. The numbers have risen dramatically, those missing to 631 individuals. And so it is really just a heartbreaking situation in California. It's something that I believe we can't understand here on the East Coast. You know, we do have hurricane season to worry about and tornadoes, but nothing like this. So it's definitely heartbreaking. Not saying any storm is worse than the other, but please keep everyone in the area in California and these areas in your thoughts and prayers. Pulling up some local news right now from San Francisco. So face masks are actually starting to sell out downtown in San Francisco stores as air quality is just expected to worsen. So with the air quality index listing Thursday is very unhealthy, according to the San Francisco Gate, it's no surprise that most Bay Area residents are rushing to their local hardware stores for a face mask. And if the number of people walking around with masks outside seems to have increased, it's not your imagination. 2 stores in downtown were already sold out and 1 confirmed. Its other locations are experiencing much of the same. And Michael Costa, who's a sales associate with Cole Hardware, says people are trying to buy as many as they can get. We've been limiting the number to a maximum of 4 masks when we have full stock, but when it gets down to lower, we limit them to 2 and then 1. And the store set up a separate line at the back of its store for those looking for N95 masks, which are at the highest demand. And there were up to as many as 75 people in line waiting 30 minutes to purchase a mask Thursday. And Costa said of the crowds, the line was ridiculous. And at that point, we couldn't guarantee that you'd get anything. Definitely heartbreaking in California. We'll keep you updated as firefighters continue fighting the wildfires in California. The Woolsey fire, the Camp Fire, I believe the Hill Fire is almost completely put out or contained, but I'm going to check on that right now. And of course, if you have any helpful links, send them to me on Twitter at Alyssa Ashe RSBN. Really would appreciate that, and thankful for all of your support and contributions to this broadcast. Trying to get some information for you about the Hill fire. Looks like these articles all have the fires together, but there are some statistics on the CBS article that I was sharing with you. Right now, the main wildfires in the headlines are the Camp Fire in Butte County and the Woolsey Fire in Los Angeles County and in Ventura County. So there's also a fundraiser going on right now that's bringing in more than $1 million. CBS Los Angeles teamed up with the Los Angeles Rams and the United Way to raise money for victims of the massive wildfires in Los Angeles and Ventura counties. And Wednesday's day-long effort brought in more than $1.1 million. Now, according to CBS, celebrities including Robin Thicke, Stephanie Weir, Polly Perrette, Heather Tom, and John McCook helped out at the phone bank, along with Galaxy player Daniel Stairs and Rams legend Eric Dickerson and Jackie Slater. And even though the telethon ended late Wednesday night, you can still donate. And I will share with you the link how you can donate. I'm going to throw that in the chat room. This is the Disaster Relief Fund provided by United Way. Also, unfortunately, getting reports right now, according to CBS, a firefighter was hit by a car. CBS Los Angeles' Mike Rogers reported about a firefighter battling the Woolsey fire and how he had been injured. According to Mike Rogers, a firefighter from Washington State has been hit by a car while fighting the Woolsey fire. The crash happened on PCH near Deer Creek Road in Ventura County just after midnight. The fireman's condition is not known at this time. Definitely heartbreaking in California. Continue to keep everyone in your prayers. And we're going to wrap it up pretty soon with some more positive stories, maybe a couple fun pictures and visuals. So we will have what's called the nightcap on local news in just a minute. But until then, enjoy some more music from RSBN's Jacob Seals. Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us on Right Side Broadcasting Network for another nightly news recap. Welcome to the nightcap. We're going to share a couple more stories and then wrap things up tonight. Hope you enjoyed that wonderful music by Jacob Seals. He is a fantastic artist, producer, composer, guitar player, musician, and really glad to be able to share his music tonight. So a couple more stories that I am going to share with you to wrap up the night. One is from someone you may know, Hannity's website. And this is something that you've already heard. You've been asking me about during the broadcast. Alyssa, when are you going to talk about this? And it's titled, Not So Fast. Federal judge rules Hillary must answer questions regarding email server. I'm going to break this down with you a little bit. So according to Hannity, a U.S. District Court judge ruled Wednesday night that twice failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton must answer questions under oath regarding her use of a private email server as Secretary of State. Now, according to the government watchdog agency Judicial Watch, Clinton was ordered by Judge Emmett Sullivan to comply with multiple requests filed under the Freedom of Information Act, also known as FOIA. Now, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton tweeted out just yesterday, breaking court rules late today. Hillary Clinton must answer more email questions, including key questions about setting up of her email system. Court denied our request to unseal vid depositions of Clinton aides. Now, Fitton also said the public and the media have a right to a full accounting from top officials of the Clinton State Department. In lieu of a much needed, new and untainted investigation by the FBI, the continued work of Judicial Watch and the courts is clearly the only hope of bringing sunlight into the Clinton email issue and completing the public record. So there is an update there. Shout out to one of our wonderful moderators, the head moderator, RSBN moderator, also known as Mod Mom. Thank you for sharing that story with me tonight for the nightcap. And another story courtesy of the British Patriot. Thank you for sharing from Fox News. A veteran with no family has hundreds show up for the funeral in Tennessee. So a Marine Corps veteran who was listed as unclaimed, and this is according to Fox News, after he died, had hundreds show up at his funeral last week in Tennessee to make sure he was not forgotten. And Leo Stokely, who's 69 years old, of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, passed away on November 4th at a nursing home in Ashland City, according to his obituary posted by the Boyd Funeral Home. Now, according to Fox News, Stokely was born on June 5th, 1949 in Greenville, South Carolina, which is where I grew up, so a very special place to me personally. But anyways, he served and he completed a tour of duty in Vietnam, and the veteran was set to be buried with military honors on November 9th at the Middle Tennessee Veterans Cemetery in P. Graham, where staff members at the Cheatham County Veterans Service Office learned he was an unclaimed veteran. Now, Bob Counter told the Tennessean, when we found out that he was considered an unclaimed veteran, which means he has no family, we wanted to make sure he got claimed. And we'll pull up a picture for you of the ceremony. So hundreds came to pay their respects for Leo Stokely. He was 69 years old, of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And he passed away. He had no family members to attend his funeral. Now, Counter, who was an Air Force veteran, initially posted about it on the Cheatham County Veterans Service official Facebook page. He said, "We're asking Team Cheatham, and especially our veterans, to claim Mr. Stokely as a matter of respect for his military service. No veteran should have a funeral without someone holding his or her service in high regard. It's just not right or fitting." Now, after the initial posting, according to Fox News, his message was picked up by several other popular Facebook pages and quickly went viral with thousands of shares by the time of the funeral on Friday. Now, Counter told WTVF it's very heartwarming to see this many veterans and friends of veterans that show up here on a cold, rainy day, a weekday, to send him off in style. I'm proud for that. I'm proud for these guys that did that. And Stokely was then laid to rest at the Middle Tennessee Veterans Cemetery in Nashville. So shout out to a British Patriot. Thank you very much for sharing that tonight. And tonight, to finish off this broadcast, this is the nightcap of the nightly news recap, where I bring you a couple final stories and one uplifting, heartwarming, or positive story. So thank you very much, British Patriot, for sharing that with all of us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. You all are very fantastic, and as you know, we're not able to do this without you. So thank you so much for being here tonight and for supporting us. It has been a great time interacting with you guys tonight on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. What else? The website. You know, we're on like 5 places at once. Got to keep up now. Social media is very important to news, and news is moving more onto social media, as you know, and becoming more and more digital. Shout out to everyone watching on different platforms. Dawn just joined on Twitter. Hey Dawn, hope you are doing well. And also huge thank you to those moderators in the chat room, keeping everything clean and family friendly. Thank you for your time and just making sure that everyone in the chat room has all the information you need. If you have questions for me that I may not be able to answer, those moderators are very quick to answer them. So thank you so much for that. And also everyone that interacted with me on Twitter and sent me helpful stories tonight. Enjoyed interacting with you there during this broadcast. Remember, you can always interact with me on Twitter while I'm live at Alyssa Ashe RSBN. So I appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for being here tonight and just for joining us for a wonderful nightly news recap. And I hope you all have a fantastic Thursday night as we head into the weekend. Thank you again for joining us on Right Side Broadcasting Network and for your donations that keep us on the air. And from everyone at Right Side Broadcasting Network, I wish you a wonderful evening. God bless and good night.